Hey everybody, what's up? I'm DJ Sixsmith. Welcome to Sit Down. Sarah Stiles here with us. You can ukulele with me, your brand new EP. You know from Billions, Broadway, a little bit of everything. Sarah, how are you?
I'm great. Great. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. All things considered, just trying to get through. And the good news is, we've got some new stuff to listen to from you. So, what was it like putting this new EP together?
What was it like? It was, we recorded it a couple weeks before the lockdown, so it was a very different world when we were working on it, and then we mixed it and mastered it all during this time. So it's kept me busy. It kept me like in a positive like frame of mind as much as I can be. At this time, it's hard, man. It's rough. It's roller coastery, right?
I can't even imagine trying to mix that all together. What was the biggest challenge of just piecing it together during this time?
Honestly, the vibe is just so upbeat and joyous and quirky and silly. And initially, I couldn't even listen to it for the first month that we were in lockdown because I just felt like I was not in that headspace. But now I'm so grateful for it because I feel like it's like exactly what I want to be listening to and putting out into the world.
It's nice to have a little bit of an escape. So why don't we go back a little bit? Where were you at when you were in that headspace and what inspired the new music here?
Well, my collaborator, Holly Gawanta, wrote all these songs, and we started working together about 4 years ago. We were doing a nightclub act, and she thought it would be a cool idea to have me play the ukulele for the final song of this nightclub act. And we didn't know, neither one of us knew how to play the ukulele. So she ordered a couple. She started like fooling around trying to figure out these chords of this song from the Fantastics that I was going to sing. And then she wrote the song Simple Song of Love, which is the first song on the EP. And and ever since then, I was like obsessed with it. And I'm like, we have to do this for the nightclub act. And ever since then, she's been writing ukulele songs and I've been begging her to record an album. So we finally got our act together this fall.
That's really awesome. I feel like the ukulele is one of those things people pick up, they're plucking around, but like the fact that you're making it like a mainstream deal here, like I give you a ton of credit with that.
Thank you. Well, somebody's got to do it.
Exactly. So when I think about your journey, you've done the music thing, you've done Broadway, you've done acting. Why don't we talk about Broadway here? What has been just the coolest part of the theater journey and going from, all the different iterations of off-Broadway and regional to finally making it to the big show?
Total hoofer, right? Yeah. I started off doing theater. I fell in love with theater as a kid, doing community theater back home in New Hampshire. And I left high school, came straight here and was lucky to start working kind of right away, but doing like non-equity tours and like, regional. And I love theater. It's totally in my bones and I will always keep going back to it. There's no other medium like it. It's such an incredible thing to be a part of, to be on stage and off stage. And I miss it right now. Oh my gosh. It's so crazy. I'm hoping that, everything can go back to some semblance of normal with live performances soon.
Yeah. How strange is it that there's no Broadway right now? I mean, you're in New York. I mean, what is the craziest part of this for you when you're walking around just seeing nobody's at these shows? These shows can't even happen right now.
I mean, it's really weird. It's definitely, that's never happened, right? Not like this anyways. So, my fiance works at MTC's Broadway space, the Friedman Theater, and he's out of work right now. And it's just, both of us are kind of like, whoa, it's like been our lives for so long. But we're resilient people, those Broadway folks. Everyone's doing different podcasts and audio musicals. And, we're trying to keep creative and keep it out there.
Everybody's finding a way to be creative. That's the great thing about the Broadway world, and you're certainly doing that. What do you remember about your first Broadway show?
Oh gosh, I was a vacation swing, which meant I was an understudy in the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee, and my Broadway debut was going on as one of the characters for the matinee and the other character that I was understudying for the evening performance, and it was just thrilling. Didn't have a put in. So the first time I was running through the show with these actors, Broadway actors, were like Jesse Tyler Ferguson was in the cast at that point. And it was the first time I'd ever done it with the orchestra and there was a live audience. And I don't know, I don't remember anything more than just sort of like being shot in the face with like joy sparkles and maybe a little fear, like a little bit of it.
A lethal combination right there.
Yeah.
So So you go from that to eventually be nominated for a Tony a few years later. What was the coolest part of that experience?
The Tonys were cool. I've actually been nominated twice now.
That's right. Yeah, let's make sure we get the proper shine here.
Right. No, I mean, it's all I got. I gotta say it. No, I mean, being nominated is like such a dream. You know, if you're a Broadway kid listening to these musicals growing up, like you're watching the Tonys and you're just like, the idea of being a part of that one day seems so far. And so then when all of a sudden it like becomes a reality, it's incredible. It's really incredible.
So the theater world is very specific with its fan base, and then you have Billions, which is a whole different fan base. So
totally.
What's it been like being on that show, and how did you even jump on? Why don't you give me the backstory there?
Sure. I love Billions. Those are some of my best buddies, honestly, in my life, are those people I work with. They're just great. It's such a different role than I've ever played. Bonnie is such a tough, hard ass, and she just puts everybody in their place, and it's really, really fun to play her. How did that start? I auditioned for it. I was actually shooting Get Shorty at the same time. So I was flying back and forth because Billions shoots in New York, but I never actually was living in New York for the first 2 seasons I was on when I was shooting it. I was shooting in LA and they would fly me back and forth, or I'd be doing Tootsie in Chicago. It was crazy times, but they kept writing for me and kept having me on. And I feel like I'm really lucky to be a part of that great group of people.
Yeah, I think you hit it right there. I mean, the guys continue to write for Bonnie, and she really had this whole runway here. And that's a show where it's like, there's so many great characters. How were you able to cut through with that character? Because it's one thing to be that type of woman with that company, but it's another thing to have that storyline really built out for you specifically.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, when I got the role, I didn't know it was more than 1 episode. I thought maybe I get lucky and get 2. So it's, I don't know. I don't know what it is. The audience does respond to it. They just love that she is so tough and honest and just says whatever is on her mind. But I do think like Bonnie I've heard that in that world, the women have to be very assertive like that. Because it is such a boys club. So in order to stand your ground, it's almost like you get pumped with testosterone or something. You got to push the envelope a little bit. And I guess I can do that.
Yeah, you totally can. I mean, it's just like the Wendy Rhodes character. And also anybody going after it with Dollar Bill, come on.
I know. You
gotta have that, right?
He's just one of my favorite people in the world. I love Kelly.
Why do you think this show has resonated so deeply with people? What do you think separates it from other shows that have been on TV?
I don't know. I mean, I think there's, like you said, there's so many great characters. It's got a little bit of everything. And also for New Yorkers, I find that in New York, I get recognized a lot for Billions because New Yorkers love this show because it is so New York. We're going to New York places and there's the New York celebrities and the restaurants and on the streets and I mean people love it. It's also it's escapism too. It's so high drama.
I'm sure you're pretty excited to get back to work at some point. What's it been like just these last few months not doing anything, because your schedule can be so hectic? How have you adjusted recently?
Yeah, it's been it was hard. Making a hard stop was very challenging. But I actually get to go back to work very soon. Nice. In a week, I'm going back to we were in the middle of shooting a show for Netflix called The Crew, starring Kevin James. So we are heading back to work with all of our COVID-19 protocols and everything we got to do. We're going to keep ourselves safe and finish this show out so we can put it out there and have everyone get a chance to see it. We're excited.
Any good Kevin James stories yet, or do we need a little bit more time on set before that happens?
Well, gosh, do I have any good stories? I mean, he's awesome. He's totally awesome. Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of anything.
Keep it simple. I mean, he's clearly a funny dude, and I'm sure people are going to be checking out this show. And especially, too, it's like just the reach of Netflix. People all over the world will be seeing this stuff. That's the crazy thing about the industry now.
Totally, and it's about NASCAR, too. So we got that side, and the NASCAR fans are like, bountiful.
You go Billions fans, Broadway fans, now you got NASCAR. It's just a whole separate group
and
of
mix
people
in
here.
like a little bit of like Steven Universe cartoon. Yeah, we got. I'm trying to cover all the bases.
I like it. So why don't we bring it full circle here? When people check out your new music, you mentioned that it will just bring them to a better headspace. What's something else that you want them to be thinking about when they listen to your songs? If they just know you from the acting, what do you want them to know about your music?
Well, this album is definitely me. I feel like as a Broadway actor, you get to sing inside characters in musicals, and that's a lot of fun. But this is totally my heart, the things that my point of view. So I don't know, which is quirky and fun, and look to the light, and look to love, look to joy. That's what I hope that people get from this.
That's a great thing to be thinking about right now. Sarah, really nice to meet you. Thanks so much for hanging out, and best of luck going back to work.
Hey, you too. Thanks.